And a pause today in the trial of a former LMPD officer facing charges for his actions in the raid on Breonna Taylor's apartment. Federal courthouses are closed today to observe Veterans Day.
WDRB's Hayden Ristevski joins us now to break down what's happened in Brett Hankison's case so far. But first, let's rewind a little bit, refresh people's minds. What is Hankison charged with?
Guys, Hankison is charged with deprivation of rights under color of law. You guys at home are probably looking at me like, what did she just say? What does that mean? Now, I'm not an attorney, but I'm going to try my best to break it all down for you. These are federal, criminal, civil rights charges. And what those charges mean when we say that term color of law, it has to do with people who are given power by the government, right? They work for the government. So think about police officers, corrections officers, prison guards, sheriff's deputies, judges, district attorneys, things like that. That's who we're talking about here. And the specific statute under federal law, I'm going to use my cheat sheet. It says that defendants act under color of law when they wield that power vested by a government entity and when they deprive somebody of a constitutional right. So in this case, Brett Hankison is charged with firing blindly through a sliding glass door and a bedroom window of Breonna Taylor's apartment the night of the raid. Hankison didn't hit anybody with any of those bullets, but prosecutors say they went through an apartment next door, so they're alleging that Hankison violated the civil rights of Breonna Taylor, her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, and 3 neighbors in that apartment next door. It's very complicated, guys, but what you need to know is that these are very serious charges. And because prosecutors say Hankison fired with an intent to kill, these charges can actually result in life in federal prison.
So who are the key players in this? Because we have seen a host of former LMPD officers both testifying for Hankison and for the prosecution.
We have heard hours and hours of testimony in this case so far over the last 2 weeks, guys. But some of the key players that we have heard of so far are Detective Miles Cosgrove. He is the officer who fired his weapon, returned fire the night of the raid, ultimately killing Breonna Taylor. We've heard from Kenneth Walker, her boyfriend, the man who fired that initial shot at police first. He testified he thought that they were being broken into in that apartment, and he fired a warning shot. He ended up hitting Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly in the leg. Mattingly also testified yesterday, in fact, about his experience that night. Hankison himself has also taken the stand. He is actually in the middle of his testimony right now, and we're expecting that to kind of pick up Monday morning. And he's been walking us through that night step by step, making it very clear that he did not shoot blindly. Hankison says that he isolated a target. He saw someone shooting in a big figure, in a shooting stance. We now know that person was Kenneth Walker and the shadow of Breonna Taylor behind him. But prosecutors say when he moved to the front of the building and started shooting through those windows, that he wasn't actually identifying a threat. So there's been a lot of back and forth about that, those terms of target isolation and shooting blindly, a lot of testimony about police training. It's been a lot to digest.
You have the law saying that you have to know what you're shooting at.
Right, and the police training saying that you can't just shoot blindly. But again, Hankison has argued, his defense team has argued that he did identify a threat. So it's really going to be up to the jury to determine what they think actually happened here.
And Hayden, you have been very busy covering this case. Testimony resumes on Monday. So where does the case go from there?
Well, after Brett Hankison's testimony, we believe that the jury will be read those jury instructions. At that point, they hear those closing arguments from prosecutors and from Hankison's defense team. And we are very expecting that it is possible that the jury will be handed the case sometime Monday afternoon, guys.
All right, Hayden, thanks for being on top of this from day one of the trial. We look forward to your continued reporting next week. Well,